Drop the fear of dying. One thing, and you're free. You'll fly. And you won't die.
So you're saying, just keep doing what we're doing it faster and all the time.
Do it completely. Not all the time. Do it completely. You could do it here and now. You could drop the fear of dying if you would so will. But keep it simple. When you so resolve to, you'll do it. You've got to want freedom more than you want anything else in the world. You've got to make it constant. What greater separation is there than you from your body?
But I mean, is that just...
It's helpful, yes, it's helpful.
But it's really leaping the puddle, I think.
It's not as direct as
letting go of the fear of death.
Letting the fear of dying to come up from your subconscious into your consciousness and letting it out. It's doing it in smaller steps when you let go. But it's good. So you're letting go of approval and control is also letting go of the fear of dying, because the reason why you want approval is so that you'll be safe and won't die. Letting go of control is letting go of wanting to make everyone approve of you so you'll be safe and survive. So all those things are working on the basic fear of dying, but to a lesser, lighter degree, which you can handle now. And the reason why you can't handle the others is just only you say you cannot. And I know you can. Because all that suppressed fear of dying is trying to push out with tremendous energy and force. And you're using that much energy and force to hold it down, but you're relegating it to the subconscious so as not to look at it. But if you want to look at it, you'll see it. And it'll come up into your consciousness. And you let it go. But right now the chances are you'd suppress it. But if you let it go, you discover it's a tremendously wonderful feeling. Each time you let go of any amount of the fear of dying, it's a wonderful feeling. And if you keep it going, in a matter of a week or two, there's no more left. And it's only a feeling. Right now you equate it to death itself. That's why you don't allow it up.
Right.
But it's only a feeling. It is not death. If anything, it's more aliveness. Allowing the feeling of fear of dying up is more aliveness than it is dyingness. You will get by experiencing it.
What is it, the memory of all the bodies that have died that frightens you?
Yes.
All the ways
It's the number one trauma that we have been through again and again and again and again in the past. So we try to avoid it from happening again by not looking at it.
That ain't going to work.
But I tell you what, if you allow it up, you'll see how easy it is. Because it's pushing with the greatest of energy to get out. Every suppressed feeling is trying to expend itself. And the fear of dying has got more energy pushing to get out than any other feeling.
It's all that the pain that we've experienced in all those other times.
Yeah, the pain just before death.
Physically.
Because when you die, there's no physical pain anymore. There's a sense of relief.
Right. But all that fear of all those moments just before
is all recorded and held on to. And you're trying to prevent it from happening again by not looking at it. Like an ostrich, we put our heads in the sand.
How do they breathe?
They release the fear of dying. They don't have to breathe. No, you will breathe if you release. You can choose. You can choose to breathe, but you don't have to when you release the fear of dying. So be an ostrich. Try it. It doesn't hurt. It feels wonderful when you release. When you allow the fear of dying up and allow it out. Try it. Do it. Determined to do it. Resolved to do it. And releasing is a natural process without which everyone would go crazy. But what we give you is an open avenue to expedite the releasing and a map on how to go all the way. But releasing is a natural process. At one of the lowest points in my life, in New Mexico, I was building and selling homes, FHA homes, for a price around $8,000, where the city fathers who had control of this town of Socorro, New Mexico, were selling them for $12,000, $14,000. And they wanted to get rid of this stranger in their midst, me. And they sent in a discharged soldier, Chapter 8, discharged from mental thing, and he came in with a gun, and in my kitchen he sat on the other side of a table about this width, and he dropped a .48 down. He says, "I'm going to kill you." And I see his finger go like that. Well, slow motion came into being. It seemed like a long period. And I said, he can't kill me. This isn't real. Even if he does shoot, it'll slide off my shoulder. And I felt good as I saw that finger squeezing that trigger. I released. I didn't know what I was doing, but I released completely. I really had no choice except to have to release. And immediately there's a tremendous banging on the front door. And he orders me with the gun to answer the door and tell them to go away. I go to the door, I open it, and I wanted to say, go away, I'm busy. It was my next door neighbor, big fellow. But he pushed me on the shoulder, pushed me away, went right into the kitchen and said, this guy's name was Leslie. Les, what the hell you doing with that gun? And he pulls it right out of his hand. Now all that was caused, of course, he used to give me migraine in those days trying to figure it out. It made no sense. But my releasing caused that to happen. Because when we are released, we're in our beingness. We're not ego, mind-wise, trying to control it anymore. And in our beingness is where all things are possible, where death is impossible. But back in my days, I could never figure it out. I'd always get migraine trying to figure out these unusual things. They made no sense. How did my next door neighbor know I was in a situation? Why did he disregard my wanting to tell him to go away, push me aside, go right into the kitchen? He couldn't see this fellow in the kitchen from the front door in the living room, but he went right in there. He took the gun away from him. How did he know all that? And to me in those days it was impossible, so I couldn't figure it out. I'd get a headache over it and drop it. But the greatest thing that happened to me in my lifetime was being told I was going to die. Man's extremity is God's opportunity. But the important thing now is to get rid of any suppressed feelings. But your taking responsibility does help, and does help you release also. Take responsibility for causing it. Somewhere deep down in your subconscious mind. Back in the early days, I used to use that. I remember when some kid, Hollywood Boulevard, was only going about 25 miles an hour, suddenly coming in the opposite direction at a corner made a left turn right in front of me. By the time I hit my brakes, I hit him. As I get out of the car, someone said, "It's his fault, it's his fault." I said, "No, it isn't, no, it isn't." They looked at me, they thought I was delirious. But it was me taking responsibility. And when I got away from it, I remembered the day before, a very silly thought in me. I was in Los Angeles with New Jersey place that expired in another day, and I said, well, now's the time to have an accident before it expires. But the originating thoughts used to come up in me by taking responsibility and allow me to release that thing so it wouldn't happen again. But I added on another thing. Okay, you dumb so-and-so, you did this, make it worthwhile. And I said, it is done. The kid was shaken up. I asked him, do you have insurance? I don't know. I got to call my mother. He called his mother. She said yes. He gave me the name. I went to them. They said get 3 bids. I got 3 bids. And the place I go to, the place I went to, not only fixed up the one fender that he caused, but I was living in New York City at the time, and all the other 3 fenders were bent. Living in Manhattan in those days, it was common. I got the other 3 fenders fixed, and I got the whole car painted, and I had money left over from the lowest of the 3 bids. I went to not to the one of them, but to someone else. I took responsibility for causing the accident. I could take responsibility for making it worthwhile. So I'm adding something on to you. You could use the responsibility to make it the way you wish. But more value now is releasing the suppressed fear. And the other questions? Well, we're really into the deep feeling arena.
Isn't that where Paramahansa then just sat down and dropped his body? I mean, you get to that point where you take complete control of that.
Yeah, when you have no fear of dying like he had, he made the decision, now's the time to let go of this body straitjacket. And he walked out of it in the greatest of glee, with a big smile on his face. The man who caught him, Jim Slavos, was a Greek furrier from New York City and couldn't understand it. And I went through it with him because Jim saw death, whereas Yogananda saw a much lighter way, moving in with his old friend Guru Yuktaswar, and that's what he did. He joined Yuktaswar in a far less confined body, a very subtle body. And if you're interested, Yogananda said he'll be back in about 400 years in another physical body to continue what he was doing here in California recently. But I wouldn't wait. I'd go free.